Hey, everybody, it's the Pool Fanatic Show. That's right, featuring the Pool Fanatic himself, Tony Caruso. Now, for those of you who say I don't give out the phone number enough on this show, listen up, because every week at this very same time, I give the phone number, and I give it going in and out of all the breaks. So write this number down, put it someplace, get your lipstick out, and put it on the window, or write it in the dust on the window top there. Do something. 844-220-0965. That's 844-220-0965. One more time. 844-220-0965. Put that in your contacts in your smartphone under favorites and under News 96.5. You could text Tony at 21232, 21232. That is getting out your smartphone, getting to your messaging service, and instead of putting in a name or a number or an address, whatever, just put in 21232, and the message field will show up. Normal texting rates do apply, but most of us have free texting, so you can get right through to Tony pretty good. All right, Tony Caruso. Oh, by the way, Tony, 844-220-0965.
I know the number.
Who are those people out there?
I know the number. That's okay, Rob.
32 years, 36 years I've been doing this.
36 years.
People
well,
that's
how you're older than I'm not even that old, Rob.
You are a youngster.
That's right. Who's watching the kids today, Rob?
I hope everybody is. The weather's nutty and crazy out there, and I know the kids are getting restless.
They
want
are.
to do something.
Yeah. We just need to not become complacent, even on days like today when we're tied up with family. Tomorrow, another big day. Obviously we've got the big game between the let's see here, the man with a touch of gray and the kid with a lot of ambition.
True.
I think it's going to be quite the game.
A lot of sentiment tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see. I like the touch of gray to win. Or a little wisdom over a lot of energy, but we'll see how that goes.
I can see a really cool situation here. Imagine this, folks. You have some friends over. You get out your whatever beverages you'd like, and you go out to your outdoor area where there's a fireplace and a big screen TV. Now, who could put that in, Tony?
Let's
Do you know
see
somebody
here.
can do that?
Tomorrow's football game.
I don't think you can get it done by tomorrow.
I'm going to watch on our outdoor theater, which is 10 foot by 18 foot. I'm going to watch in HD. I'll have a 1,000-watt surround sound system playing the game. I may have a few upset neighbors, but the game will be over before curfew time or noise ordinance time. But yeah, Rob, it's one of those things that we get to do. Is we're honored to be able to take the time to build all these amazing things. There is no practice at what we do. We're good at what we do, and we're good at what we do for a reason. So let's take this call from Tom. We're going to talk about some really cool stuff coming up on Thursday. You talk about Thursday because Thursday's a big day.
I've already got my hotel reservations in that part of town. Tom, what's going on?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for taking my call.
Yes,
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, what I've got is a 15,000-foot pool or 15,000-gallon pool.
There you go.
And with a cartridge filter. And I just had to replace the one-horse power pump motor.
Okay.
And even before I had to replace that, I'm getting air suction through something somewhere that's causing air to build up inside the filter housing.
Okay.
And I have to keep releasing the little screw,
the bleeder valve
on the top of the tank, the bleeder valve, to let the air out. And usually I have to just leave it just barely open, so it's always spitting air out all the time.
All right, Tom, I got a question for you. On the front of your pump, is it a pool spa combination, pool skimmer, vacuum line? What do you got on the front of that pump?
It's just the pump only.
No,
the skimmer runs through the same
main drain,
same vacuum pump, right?
Okay, but are they separate lines? Is there a valve on the front of the pump?
There are two valves. There's a valve that goes to the main drain.
Okay.
There's one that goes for the skimmer and pool cleaner.
And are they plastic? Are they PVC or CPVC? Or are they metal?
They're plastic.
All right. Do you have the type of valve that has a little black cap on the side of it, a little grease fitting? No?
No, it's the one that you can interchange the levers on the top. You take them off to move them to one place to another.
Okay.
To open the valve. Well, I forget what the name of that valve is called.
All right. Do you have, question for you. Do you have the valve, on the top of the valve, are there 8 screws, and is there a little thumb nut on the top? A little thumb nut to loosen up so you can rotate the valve around?
Yes, you can rotate the valve to different locations.
Okay, and when you change the motor out, not the pump out, is that correct? Or did you change the whole?
Correct.
Okay. Now, do you have air in the basket on that pump? When the pump runs, is there air in the basket? Can you see in that lid? Is there air in there?
Very, very, very little.
All right. Is your pump a stay right by any chance?
No.
Okay. What happens sometimes between the front of the pump housing and the motor? There's an O-ring in there. And is there any water dripping under the motor at all? Just a couple of drops. Doesn't have to be much. Ever see any water down below there?
Nothing. And I thought there's a clean out trap there.
Okay.
For a major with a little screen basket that goes inside.
Right. So here's where your air comes from. If the water in the pool is up where it belongs. Okay, so we know we're good there. So where the water comes in the valve, I would tighten the 8 screws down and run that thumb nut down real tight. So it only takes a bit of air, and we're good. Next thing I would do is I would check the O-ring under the lid. You cannot have any hair, grass, nothing, no foreign debris. Make sure that's clean. Now I've eliminated the front of the valve. I've eliminated the O-ring. But another thing is the adapter that screws into the pump. Here's I'm going to give you a little something to do. Take a little duct tape. I don't care what kind of tape you got. Wrap it around the male adapter that screws into the front of the pump. Wrap it really tight. And then if the air stops, your adapter's bad. If it doesn't stop there and your O-ring is good, then it's the seal plate gasket. That's all it can be.
Okay. Okay. Now, I was thinking about taking a small tube, putting a connector into that relief valve area, and just let it run continuously through a hose and plumb it back into the return line.
Well, you're going
permissible.
Well, yeah, you can, but there's no real need to do that. That you're creating what's called we call in my terminology a dump line. You're dumping the water back into the suction housing to keep it going. But I'm thinking your fix is really inexpensive. Really inexpensive. So do the tape around the adapter where it screws in the front of the pump, and if the air goes away, your male adapter is bad. If the air doesn't go away and the O-ring on the front of the pump lid is good, then your seal plate gasket. You have 4 bolts in the back, or you may have a band. Just tighten those up, and if not, it's going to be the seal plate gasket, or in this case, going to be the O-ring on the lid of the basket.
Well, I'll give that a try.
Yes, sir. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks.
All right.
You're
Thank
very
you
welcome.
so much there, Tom. And the number to call is 844-220-0965, 844-220-0965, 21232, on the text line. Thursday, I want to congratulate you in advance. It is a big, big night.
It is a big night, Rob. Thursday at around 7 o'clock, I'll be inducted into the Florida Swimming Pool Association Hall of Fame. I'll be the 48th inductee. The association has been around for right about 51 years. So pretty good bit of time. Not even one a year, but a little bit less than one a year. Pretty honored to get that. I'm also up for another. I'm not up for award. This award I'll get is the Director of the Year award. For all the effort and time I put into this association to make things a lot nicer for our industry and makes a lot of changes for the consumers, you know.
Right.
The next award I'm up for is a design award. We built one of these huge pools, took some beautiful photographs. We submitted. I know we won an award. I don't know if it's a gold, bronze, or silver. We'll find that out. Also, another really big night going with. I'm going to present a check to Rowdy Gaines, our Olympic gold medalist swimmer in the 1984 Olympics, for $10,000 that our association had. We kind of anteed up and doubled it up and anteed up. So that $10,000 is going to go to the YMCA. We talked about this kind of briefly a couple weeks ago, and that $10,000 is going to give over 1,300 children swimming lessons at $7 a lesson. I'm sorry. $7 will get that child 5 30-minute lessons.
Wow.
For $7. So, and I'll have Rowdy Gaines going to be on this radio show on March 12th.
Man.
And that's about the last time he's going to be on any radio stations because of the Summer Olympics. And, of course, he's involved with the U.S. Olympic team and commentating. So that's pretty interesting. So, Rob, you got your invitation. You going to come next Thursday night?
I got the invitation. I've already booked the room on that side of town.
There you go.
My other hotel's on the other side of town, but I want to be close.
And you know what's happening Friday. So how does your schedule work on Friday to come to the show itself? the Pool and Spa Show.
Probably going to have to be Saturday when I come to the show.
Well,
My
you'll
usual
skip
arrival.
in between. So I'm teaching a class on Saturday at 8 a.m. It's a pool popping class. I've taught it a couple years. We didn't do it last year. Right now we've got 62 or 3 sign-ups already.
And that's pool popping?
Pool popping.
Like come out of the ground
Pools,
popping?
Widest, check,
Yeesh.
Rob, check this out. Here's how I demonstrate it. That's right. Listen to everybody. Go get a pot of water. Get a nice little 3 or 4 quart pot of water and fill it up 75 to 80% full. Okay?
Got it.
I want you to take a cup or a glass and fill it up with equal amount of water and put it in that pot, and they're going to be stable, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going anywhere. Then I want you to take a straw. And this is the test. Take a straw in the cup and take 1 straw full out and put it back in the pot. And you will see how little difference in water that you're going to take out of that glass and put it back in that pot before that glass floats. It'll pop up and turn over sideways.
Ouch.
I didn't invent that. That's just physics. That's Mother Nature working against the force. Now, this is pool popping still exists, by the way. We've got some very wet grounds out there, but let me tell you some of the reasons pools pop out of the ground. Obviously, if you don't do perk holes around the pool before you drain them and know where the groundwater is. If you had a 5-foot deep pool, for instance, I have a pair of post hole diggers that'll dig a 4-foot deep hole.
Right.
Well, I'm not really happy if I get to 4 feet and I got a little bit of water. The pool's 5 feet deep. Because think about it. The pool shell is, if it's done right, if it's done by TC Water Features, it's 6 inches thick on the floor. Okay? So I want to go down about 5 feet. So I have to dig a little bit bigger hole in the top because my post holes are only so big. A little bit wider hole so I can go down 1 more foot. Once we determine where the groundwater is, then I'll go in and we'll safely pull the plug out of the bottom. If you don't do that, you stand the risk of popping a pool out of the ground. Now, we got rain today, not a lot. So anybody has an open pool shell that's just freshly been shot, you want to get that graded as quickly as possible. And a lot of guys or a lot of companies will just backfill around the shell. At TC Water Features, we actually jet the dirt in all the way around the pool shell. It's called washing in the pool shell. If you don't do that, and you just backfill it, and we're going to get a heavy rain before you put your deck on there, what will happen, water's going to go down along the side, fill it up, and then roll the pool structure over. That's another way a pool pops out of the ground. So you've got to pay attention to what you're doing and how you're doing it, because if you don't, you are going to be in some serious trouble. 407-282-4911. Please visit our website at OrlandoLuxuryPools.com. Like us on Facebook. That's TC Water Features, where amazing things Rob can promise will happen in your backyard.
And they sure do. 844-220-0965. That's 844-220-0965. Text Tony at 21232. We're asking the experts. We'll be back. It's the Pool Fanatic Show. It's the one and only Tony Caruso and the Hall of Famer Tony Caruso, I'm saying. 844-220-0965. That's 844-220-0965. Text Tony at 21232. Or, hey, why not go to your all-new News 96.5 app, the one you've got on your phone? Just scroll down to where you see Open Mic. Click on that. Ask your question. Then you don't have to hold the phone up to your head. What's going on?
Well, Rob, you know I build pools, I renovate pools, and we service pools. So the last week was actually another very interesting week because I tell you, I just don't get it, Rob. I just don't get the mentality of the people out there. I wish they required everybody in all trades to be educated.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to go back to my favorite friend, Mr. Floater. You know Mr. Floater.
They're so cute, though, Tony.
Yeah, but you can't do what you should be doing with a floater. It is impossible. It's impossible. Can I say it big enough? It's impossible to properly dispense the proper amount of chlorine in your pool through a drop feeder. It's impossible. An erosion feeder goes through roller coasters. I put my tablets in on the one day. As the tablets dissolve, my chlorine level goes up. As they start to fall back down, my chlorine level goes back down again. the only way to guarantee the proper amount of chlorine in your pool every single day is with an Aquarite chlorine generator. And we only sell Hayward's Aquarite Pro. And the reason we only sell the Aquarite Pro is it's the only salt system on the market that you can adapt a pH injector to. So we talked about this last week. Don't buy an Aquarite, buy an Aquarite Pro. I kind of, and the Aquarite Pro has been out for several years. I personally have one, and I have perfect pH in my pool the whole duration of the runtime cycle my pool is running. For instance, today, not a lot of rain, but we got rain.
Yeah, exactly.
Last week, we got 2 days worth of rain. The week before, we got 2 days worth of rain. We had record rain in the month of January. If you weren't out adjusting the pH in your water, you stand a solid chance of growing that white stuff on your tile.
Ouch.
Or those little kind of snots, what I call them boogers, in the pool finish. You're growing calcium carbonate on the walls.
Ew.
Okay, bad. So what you're doing by not taking care of the pH of your pool, just open up your wallet, get your little kitty jar over there, throw, $5-10 a week in there, and then start saving your money, because eventually you're going to wear your pool finish out. You're not going to wear it out. You're going to eat it out. And what I mean by that is that when you do a quartz finish, we basically do 3 types of finishes. We do quartz finishes, we do pebble finishes, and we do glass and pebble or all glass finishes. The compound of a quartz finish is 94% sand and cement and 6% quartz. 94% sand and cement. Well, the silica sand's not going anywhere, but the cement will. When you eat the cement out, your finish gets rough. The quartz, you're not going to ever wear it out. It's a natural made product that's just the 8th hardest known mineral to man. Sapphire is a 9 on a gemology scale. Quartz is an 8 and diamond's a 48. So there is no 10 on a gemology scale. Now, if you do a stone finish, it's 81. You do one of TC Water Features Aqua Pro finishes. It's 81% stone and only 19% sand and cement. Remember, we just talked about failure. What's going to fail? Cement. Well, if you have 81% stone, that only leaves you 19% sand and cement, and a good bit of that is a silica sand. That's not going to break down, so your finishes are much more durable. 407-282-4911. Visit us at our website, OrlandoLuxuryPools.com. Like us on Facebook. That's TC Water Features. Rob, Chris already knows this. Amazing things can happen in your backyard.
And they do. And, folks, here's the number, 844-220-0965. If you want to call the radio station right now and run a question by Tony, 844-220-0965. Text us, 21232. We're live. It's the night before the big football extravaganza. There we go. Kind of mellow music to bring us back on kind of a mellow evening. We are live. This is the night before that big extravaganza on the 100-yard field. And we can't say the word because it's owned, but we can say, in order to let you know we're live, that's the only reason I bring it up. This is a Pool Fanatic show featuring Tony Caruso, 844-220-0965. That's 844-220-0965. 21232. Not just swimming pools anymore.
No. But you know what's going to go in my bowl tomorrow night, Rob?
What?
Probably chicken bones. Chicken wing night, man.
Chicken wing night,
yeah, I guarantee.
And the biggest pizza night of
I think I'm going to smoke
well.
some tomorrow before the game and have some nice little chicken wings to put in my bowl when I'm all done. And then, we'll go off to work Monday and start off a really exciting week. And here's what I mean by that.
Right.
All right. We're going into the second week of February?
Yeah.
Is that right? Second week?
Lord.
Okay. Now, are you planning for what you're going to do in your backyard in April and in May and in June and July and August and September? Well, you should be. If you're wanting to build a swimming pool, consider it now. Because all I can tell you is, as the days go by, all of us in Central Florida are very busy. Pick and choose the right contractor. Do your research. And I'm going to talk about renovations in a second. Mm-hmm. But on the new pool side, if you are wanting a swimming pool built in Orange County, they really have their act together as far as permitting is concerned. Oh. Because you can go into Orange County, and typically 99% of the time, if your permit app's all right, your paperwork's right, you walk out with a permit that day.
Whoa,
in Seminole County, you better get a little wait. You're going to be about 9 to 11 days. If you live on the water, it could be a little longer. We're just finishing a beautiful Vanishing Edge pool on the St. Johns River. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it when my subs come back and say, Tony, that's a phenomenal looking swimming pool. All right. If you live in the city of Orlando, spin the wheel. You know, they say a couple days. I've never gotten a permit out of the city of Orlando in a couple of days. Doesn't happen. Maitland's very quick. I'm doing one in Edgewood, city of Edgewater, which is in Orange County. I have to submit to the city of Edgewood. They submit it to an independent engineer. They write their comments and reviews. Once it's approved there, it goes to Orange County. I have the permit back in a day. But I have to go through the jurisdiction. So if you're wanting continuity in permitting, Orange County is the way to be. Mm-hmm. Now, think about this. You ought to be lucky you don't live in Broward County. You will wait roughly 11 weeks to get a permit. If you submit a revision, you go back into the beginning of the line. You don't go back to where you were. And that permit's going to cost you between $4,000 and $6,000. So be blessed you live in Central Florida, and you're not running around with the, what, about 6 million people down there, 5 million people down the East Coast? Yeah, it's crazy. So be thankful you live in Central Florida. So time to consider building a swimming pool. Do your research. And if your research leads back to TC Water Features, there's a reason we've done that. We've earned it. We've earned it. Now, we're not going to go out there and build 300-400 pools this year. We never have. We never will. I am not a track pool contractor. If you want a track-built swimming pool, hire a track builder, period. We're not a track builder. We build custom pools. We keep our jobs so clean, you're going to wonder, am I really building a pool in your backyard other than the dirt that's in the backyard? We just finished up. We have one of our local newscasters here in town we're finishing up for on a lake. And this is, I'm telling you. And that's kind of being filmed for possibly a reality show. So that's kind of a cool thing, too. Gets a bit more media exposure.
Let me interject here.
Yeah.
You've got to have a lot of confidence in your company. And I know you do. And your company's great. But I want the average person out there to think, whatever their company is, you know, I don't care what they do. If you were going to be doing a service for a newscaster who is one of the most important newscasters in this market,
well, Rob,
you better darn well be sure you're doing a good job.
We do a good job, man. We do a good job, and I have very few subs. So I've got 16 going to next week's Hall of Fame induction. Of those 16 people, 9 of them work in the business.
That's great. 9
of them are family members that work in the business. So that's what we get to control. I love it when someone calls and says, your son Anthony, what a nice gentleman, smart as can be, did a great job. Or your son Chris, God, he's so knowledgeable about what he does. Or your brothers, you know, Bud, Tom, Mike, you know, they talk about him. They love what they do. They're clean. Now, we're a little bit older. We're a little bit slower, but we're also a lot wiser than we were 30 years ago when we started in this trade. I'm actually going into my 36th year. I go to a renovation the other day, and I asked the customer, I said, how many bids you get? And he goes, well, I've invited 5 over. And I'm going, oh, man, 5 people over. You're looking for dollars and cents. And he said, looked at me straight in the eye. And he says, no, I'm not. The first 2 guys, I told them to leave. One guy had the nerve to tell me that when I was ready to actually do the work, call me back. Zip. Trash him. I'm never calling him back. Then the other guy, he can't answer questions that a consumer is asking. Says, let me get on the phone, call my boss or what. Going, wrong guy. Do not send people out to projects that don't understand what they're doing. When a consumer asks a sales associate or a sales rep or a contractor a question and he don't have the answer, he might not be the right guy. Amen. I go to Mount Verde for a new pool sale 8 o'clock yesterday morning. Heard me on the radio, Rob.
It's very cold.
Heard me on the radio. Very specific about what he's looking for. Very specific about what he's wanting to do. Not for the faint-hearted. A lot of things going to go on in this job. A lot of interactions on this job. You can't have people that build track swimming pools try to build pools like this because it's a different mentality. And do not think it's not, by the way. Do not think that a guy that's going to build a $40,000 pool can build a $400,000 pool.
Oh, yeah.
It's not happening. It's just not happening. You can work at it, but you're not going to be as successful at it as we are because we do have that diversity because we don't rush the project. We're building pools right now in about 60 days. 60 days. Some jobs, the one I described to you off air, it's on a lake. It's going to be probably closer to 72 to 75 days to build that pool. That's because the screen enclosure is a 3-day install. It's not a 1-day install. There's a lot of work on this job, and we're going to fully restore the project back. We're going to landscape it back. We're going to put sod back, do low voltage lighting, repair the irrigation.
Oh, wow. I wondered about that landscaping phase, though. I wondered how that happened.
It's usually green, and you leave green side up. No, we got it all. I use my buddy Rusty over at City Beautiful Landscaping, and he does a great job. He turned me on a cool job the other day. I go out and look at it, and the pool, they want to give a quote-on pool service because everybody that's gone out there has not done a very good job. Rob, it's a vanishing edge pool. There's so much white scale on the backside of the walls. It's incredible. And then there's almost permanent scale built up on the tile that I may not get off. I can get it off because it's glass. I can get it off the glass tile. But one of the things was a GFCI breaker trips for the little pond out in the back. Well, there's a bridge that goes over the pond. Well, the breaker is under the bridge. I'm going, how can I get under the bridge to get to the breaker? My electrician calls and says, Tony, it's only a foot between the water and the receptacle. I'm going, wrong. Breakers, the GFI is in the wrong position. But even though I can't test it, so I asked my electrician, I said, did they screw the wood planks down? Or he goes, Tony, I think it's seamless. I don't see any bolt, which means they did it from underneath. All the fasteners are underneath. So I can't do anything for this. We have to drain the pond, let it dry out for a while to get up under there, but we actually have to move the switch so the pond doesn't run. Those are the things that you can't do incorrectly. You can't put a GFCI breaker 1 foot from the water. It's not happening. So any moisture. So real easy. The moisture or the voltage on a GFCI, the voltage in has to equal voltage out. The breaker don't trip. The minute we get a little resistance on either side, breaker trips. Moisture. It's under the bridge. Can't do anything about it. Got to move the breaker. So I'm thinking, who put that under there? Can't do that. So you got to think about what you're doing while you're doing it. Another one is I saw this week, another pool service I went on. Of course, we're picking up several a week, and we're keeping up just fine. No problem. Good. Customers actually call back and say, we love your service guy. He's doing a great job for you. Pools never looked this good. I love the fact that you check every piece of equipment on every single visit you come to my home. You check my light switches. You check my automated panels. You check my heater, my blower. And my water looks phenomenal. Phenomenal. So those of you out there that own a particular type of van, if you want to know what it is, call me off air. I don't carry any chlorine in my van, but I lost an evaporator coil in one of my vans 2 years old. They're not going to warrant it, and they told me that I carry chlorine in my van. I don't carry any chlorine in my van, none at all. So I've got a master mechanic that's in my back pocket that's going to help us get this thing resolved. So what I'm trying to get at is we don't carry chlorine on our vans. You are not going to see me go out there with a jug of liquid bleach or chlorine and throw it in your pool because we don't carry it. There's no need. We don't carry tablets in our vans. There's no need. The majority of our customers are under salt systems. We will help you get into salt systems. Now, this past week we did several variable speed upgrades, saving my customers $600 a year in power. That's the first thing we did.
That's huge.
Aquarite Pro, pH Sense and Dispense, LED lights. We did 4 or 5 packages like that last week. We've got 3 packages come up this week already. The consumers love the fact that I can produce the same amount of chlorine every single day. the same amount of pH in my pool every single day. I'm lowering my energy costs, and now I have a light show in my backyard. 17 light shows in my backyard. If my buddy Cosmos is out world touring again, if he called in, he would also talk about some of the cool experimentation they're doing with those.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, what do you think of that,
pictures
Rob?
he's sending us.
Yeah, we won't.
ACDC tour.
We won't talk about that. We'll let that for him to do. So if you were friends with Cosmos and other realms of media entertainment, you would see some cool stuff he does. That's my good friend Cosmo Wilson. 407-282-4911. Please visit us at Orlando Luxury Pools. Like us on Facebook. Rob, we all know that once we go out back and we take a look at that pallet out back, we know amazing things can happen in your backyard.
Oh, they do. Batting cages, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, you name it, it's all there. 844-220-0965. That's 844, toll free, 220-0965. Call it before they change it again. We'll be back. Hey, we're back. That's right. Here's the phone number. You want to join the conversation. Tony Caruso, Orlando Luxury Pools, 844-220-0965, 844-220-0965. The Pool Fanatic Pool Service Company. Does your pool guy have experience in building pools? Well, then why in the world do you let him service your pool? Because he doesn't know anything. Back to you.
Well, Rob, going in my 36th year this year. 36 years. Started when I was 4, so I'm only 40.
Can't do that.
Just teasing. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my good friend Brian Blevins. He's managing our tournament team this weekend. And without I call him B, without his smarts and knowledges, I wouldn't have anybody else manage our ball team. So we played a game last night. It was cold last night, Rob.
It was terrible last night.
I know it was only probably about 54 degrees, but the wind was brutal. Today, it warmed up probably in the middle 60s, but we got a little sprinkling. We got rained out for the next game, which is at 4 o'clock tonight. Now I just found out if we win tomorrow at 11, we go right to the championship game at 2. So our first game tomorrow is at Sanford Stadium at 11 a.m. So anybody want to come out and watch the old guys play?
Soggy.
We actually play some pretty good baseball for our age. Yeah. We had one of our guys, his name's Guy. Well, somebody made a joke. It said the top 4 guys, the top 3, then I'm batting second in this tournament. The 3, 4, 5 hitters weigh 1,000 pounds. Guy is huge. He's just a big guy. This guy hits a rope today, and I thought, but the wind's been beating everything down. And the wind's kind of hard for a baseball to carry. A golf ball carries a little bit better, but if you play golf, you see what the wind does to a golf ball. It tears it all over the place. So, anyhow, soggy this afternoon, probably a little soggy tomorrow, but all's done before the Super Bowl comes along. I'm happy as can be, so I can put my chicken wings in my bowl.
There you go.
There you go. So, a lot going on. But why would you have someone take care of your pool that doesn't treat your pool as if it were his? I am over seeing blemishes in pool finishes where nobody knows how to get them out. Now, there are some great service providers out there that do know how to get those out, but those are the pools I don't see because they're doing a great job taking care of them. It's the frustrated customer that calls us up and says, I heard you on the radio show. I'm done with my pool service guy. Come out and talk to me. Now, going to be a little bit more, but I'm going to do a whole lot more than they're ever going to consider do. So we don't wave as we go by the window, going in the backyard, and you're going, well, I just saw him go in the backyard. He's leaving already? Yeah. Well, our guys are there for enough time to do the entire thorough job. So if it takes me 40 minutes to do a 30-minute job, it takes us 40 minutes to do a 30-minute job.
Right.
That's the way it goes. I do have some jobs that take 2 hours. And if it's 2 hours and 20 minutes to get it right, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. Now, there's very rare days where I can get it done in an hour and 50 minutes. If it's a 2-hour job, it's pretty much booked out all the way. Wow. So another thing is when I met this customer yesterday, he asked me, am I going to see you? He's in sales. So it says most sales guys come out and they sell you something. It's the last time you see them. So, well, that's not what we do here.
Right.
Your sales associate that's going to come in and sell you a swimming pool, he's going to sell a pool, and he's done with you. He ain't coming back. He's going to go to the next pool sale. Well, I said, I'm the salesman. I come out. I'm the guy that you're going to see. I'm the guy that when we start your swimming pool, when we start to put the first stake in the ground, who's on the job? I am.
Nice. I
am. My youngest son, Chris, is there as well. He's my project manager. My son Chris is on every shell that we shoot. He's on every pre-grade that we do.
Wow.
I meet with the tile, plumb, and deck crew. Chris stays on top of them. I meet with them. They come in the office. We go over our scope. We meet them on the job. We do exactly what we need to do. So that is the hands-on. Monday mornings are construction meetings. Monday at 8:30 is office internal meeting. What are we going to try to? What's our media strategy? What is our marketing plan? What is our plan for the week? How are we preparing for the pool? Not the pool and spa show, but the garden show. We're in the garden show this year at the convention center in March. Was it March or April? It's coming up fast. Doesn't matter. I think it's March. Yeah, it's coming up fast. So I've never been in a garden in one of those shows, but we're going to give it a shot this year.
It's a nice show. I like it.
Just because a lot of people said they want to meet with me, come talk with me, stuff like that. You could do it anyway. I've already got 8 emails of questions since yesterday about pool-related questions, so I'll answer those on the way.
Nice.
Not on the way home, but when I get home, then I'll answer all those questions. I've got 4 or 5 phone calls I have to make since I've been on the air. So I stay busy, even though I try to have a life. Sunday is my day, my family's day. 6 days a week, pretty much nonstop. I've been here, 50 weeks a year, 49 weeks a year?
That's right.
I'm pretty much here. My friend Larry Perry's not far behind. He might take an extra week off. But pretty much these experts are pretty much here.
Yeah,
We're here
are.
for a reason. These shows are not free. I don't have major sponsors. I got Florida Leak Locator, Jack's Magic, Hayward Pool Products. We got City Beautiful Landscaping's on board. We've got some good sponsors, but it doesn't pay for the show. I do this because I like doing this. I do it because I enjoy doing it. I do it because people want to have answers to questions that they give. I do it to tell people what you can expect when you do something. How thick's your pool finish supposed to be, Rob? How did customer guess it right yesterday? About a half-inch thick. He guessed it right. And I was like, dude, that's good stuff. 407. This is fast, wasn't it?
Real fast. It went too fast today.
I think Chris is moving the clock up.
I think it's Chris Savings time.
Yeah. Can you slow the clock down? No, they've already got pre-programmed commercials. We got to do this. 407-282-4911. Please visit us at OrlandoLuxuryPools.com. Like us on Facebook. That is TC Water Features. I can't say it again, Rob. If I'm going to say it 10,000 more times, amazing things can happen in your backyard. Be back next week.